and Spike Cohen.
Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, and welcome to the Vanguard. For Spike, do you know how I prepare a cup of coffee? He brews it. Cohen, I am Matt Wright, and together we are traversing the muddied waters of freedom.
An old classic. Folks, thanks so much for being a part of this. We love you.
No matter where you are watching this, listening to this, however you are ingesting this content, thank you to all of you, and to you we say Bula Vinaka.
Bula Vinaka, however you eat our programming, thank you for eating it. And if you are eating it on YouTube, be sure not just to subscribe, but to hit the little bell next to it. We want your phone. Where the hell's my phone? We want your phone to explode. This is what a phone looks like. To explode with notifications every single time we go live. Wherever you are consuming our content here, if you have not already done so, be sure to follow, like, subscribe, to hit the bell if it's on YouTube. Be sure, if you're on Facebook, to comment and to share and all of that fun stuff. And we are happy to have you be a part of this. Of course, always share the gift of Muddy Waters today. Kids love it.
Yes. And that brings us to, you want to know what else he brews?
Oh, he also brews, well... This brings us to the Mudwater Mushroom Coffee Replacement Cacao Rapid Fire segment, brought to you by the other thing that he brews, and that's Mudwater. And I know what you're thinking. What kind of Jew magic is this? Well, it's the kind of Jew magic that makes you replace your coffee with something much less caffeinated, much more not the best tasting, but also much more healthy. It has mushrooms, sea salt, cinnamon, turmeric, masala chai, and literally nothing else. And if you go to muddywatersofreedom.com/mud, you can get your starter pack today. Now, speaking of things that
Jewish things that brew
used to taste
stuff.
better,
Jewish things
that used to be better, and yeah, now they're bad, but you probably won't die directly from it. Facebook has apparently been colluding directly with the people who brought us COINTELPRO, the FBI, right, Matt?
Yes. So, Facebook founder and known plagiarist Mark Zuckerberg, he stole the code. Like, I mean, is it plagiarism?
Oh yeah, from the Winklevoss twins, or
from
whatever,
the Winklevoss twins, the crypto billionaires and gold medal winning crew people. Crewmen's rowers.
Really?
I think they're gold medal winning. They're Olympic rowers, I believe. I'm pretty certain they are. They were played by Armie Hammer.
Yeah, they got gold in the Pan American Games.
Okay. So not Olympic, but whatever.
No, they came in 6th in the Olympics, but they actually, I didn't know that. Anyway, go ahead. Mark Zuckerberg, who stole code from gold-winning crewmen, as one does, as one would,
and he's against piracy. He appeared on Joe Rogan this past week, as I'm certain many of you have already seen clips, and a lot of this was very eye-opening. It was all stuff we had known, or at least expected, assumed, but we didn't know that any of this stuff was happening for certain. We could make every assumption and every accusation, but we didn't know for certain until on the Joe Rogan Experience, hosted by Joe Rogan, he said, the FBI came to us and they were saying, hey, you should be on high alert. We thought there was a lot of Russian propaganda in the 2016 election. We have it on a notice that there is about to be some kind of a dump that is similar to that, so just be vigilant. Now, he didn't say in this instance, he didn't say in this part definitively that they were talking about the Hunter Biden story. So,
yes.
According to the New York Post, who we all know was hurt the most by the breaking of this
yeah.
by the breaking of this story. According to the New York Post, when Joe Rogan asked if the FBI had told Facebook to be on guard specifically for the New York Post story about Hunter Biden's laptop, Zuckerberg claimed rather unconvincingly that he did not remember specifically, but it basically fit the pattern. I did not put
yes.
I did not put any editorialism into that sentence. The rather unconvincingly is the New York Post writing that.
Yeah, I am adding editorialism in saying that if someone asks you if the single biggest thing that you spent months censoring is an example of that, and you go, well, I don't remember exactly, but it does kind of fit the pattern. Yes, the answer to that is yes.
And
that was the thing. That was the thing.
So Mark Zuckerberg then goes on and he talks about, he's like, well, what we did wasn't nearly as bad as what Twitter did. We didn't ban it.
Sure.
I mean, that's legitimately what he said. He's like, we didn't.
Okay.
I mean,
okay.
We didn't ban it, but we may have pushed it to the bottom of the newsfeed. We may have made it where not as many people could see it. And Joe asks him, and he says, so by how what sort of a percentage was this? Like, what would have people seen it at versus what were they allowed? He goes, oh, I don't have those numbers in front of me, and I believe he has a ballpark. I don't think he knows the exact number, but he has a ballpark.
Of course.
And he did not want to say that out loud. And to Joe's credit, he did follow up and kind of push a little bit, not a whole lot, because that's Joe Rogan is Joe Rogan, and he wants people to be at ease on his show and be willing to talk to him. He doesn't do the hard hitting. He mainly does open style conversations, and I get it. So he says, when something like that turns out to be real, is there regret for not having it evenly distributed and for throttling the distribution of that story? To which Zuckerberg says, yeah, it sucks. It turned out after the fact checkers looked into it. No one was able to say it was false. There is I forgot what that is called, the 3 dots.
There's a ellipsis?
Ellipsis.
Yes.
There is an ellipsis here where it doesn't have anything, but in this ellipsis is actually something very important, because in this ellipsis is where he said the FBI told us that this was false information coming out. And that's where he sort of admits that he was that they told him about the Hunter Biden story. And so the fact checkers looked into it. No one was able to say it was false, except like the FBI told us it was false. So they had the fact checkers fact checking the fact checkers. And why would they fact check the fact checkers? I think it sucks, though, in the same way that probably having to go through a criminal trial but being proven innocent in the end sucks. Except,
yes.
Except, I'm not like, this entire segment is going to feel very like we're promoting Trump and Trump should have won the election. We are not promoting Trump.
It's not about Trump.
Yeah,
it's not about Trump. It's not about Trump. Who. It's not.
Yeah, it's not. But what you did by saying, okay, well, we're just going to believe the FBI, who you wouldn't believe in many other circumstances.
Mm-hmm.
Who you would not believe in many other circumstances. You said, we're going to believe the FBI and we are going to throttle this information and believe, whether or not you believe that Trump would have won that election if that story hadn't been so throttled, and a lot of people do, he helped shape an entire election by not fact-checking the fact-checkers. Yep. When it was obviously a real laptop. When it first came out, I watched everything that was leaked from it, and I am scarred to this day.
There was video that was obviously him in all his glory, and pictures and everything else. So the fact that it seemed kind of suspicious that he left the laptop and that it was delivered to, Rudy Giuliani or whatever, there's video of Hunter Biden. There's pictures of Hunter Biden. A forensic expert can easily look at it and see that it was all organically left information that was on the laptop by Hunter Biden. There was a chain of custody of the company showing that it was owned by Hunter Biden. Like there was no reason to dispute. Yes, it was crazy that Hunter Biden would just frickin' leave this laptop full of like really, really compromising stuff, and was so cracked out basically that he never picked it up again, probably forgot about it.
At a Geeks, yeah, he absolutely forgot about it. He signed
Like a
something.
Geek Squad.
Yeah, Geek Squad. It wasn't Geek Squad. It was a private thing, but
right. But something like that. Like
he essentially left it with the nerd herd, and he was like, here's the laptop. Can you fix it? They said, here, sign this piece of paper. If you don't come back for it within 90 days of repair, we're gonna keep it and sell it. And he said, okay. And he signed the piece of paper.
Rudy Giuliani.
And boy, I bet they sold it for so much money. That was the most expensive laptop they've ever sold.
I picture, in future contracts, it says, you have 90 days to pick up your laptop and pay for it, or else we are going to give it to Rudy Giuliani,
Rudy Giuliani,
former mayor of New York, in case there are multiple Rudy Giulianis. The real story here is that what we've already suspected, and now, yet another example of it, the federal government is directing social media to censor things for political reasons. So this whole, it's private companies making this decision. No, it's not. The federal government is putting pressure on them to do this stuff, because it's stick and carrot. If they take the carrot, they get all these media ad buys from the government agencies. They get all of this preferential treatment in the regulatory environment and in, PPP loans and in, stimulus spending and all that stuff. But if they don't go with it, they get dragged in front of Congress. They get threatened. They get criminal and civil actions against them. So instead, they just go along with the carrot and try to avoid the stick. And so you have these social media companies who are essentially censoring on behalf of the government. And I have news for you. If someone takes a suppressive action that they would not have otherwise taken because they were pressured by the government or coerced by the government or bribed by the government or whatever by the government to do so, you have been censored by the government.
Yes.
This is not about Trump. This is not about Biden. This isn't even about the election. It's not even about the reason why they did it, which was to help Biden and hurt Trump. But it's not even about why they've done it. It's that they're doing it. It's that you are being censored by the government, not by big tech. And so the takeaway is not end Section 230 or, put more government restrictions on the internet to protect you. It's get the government the hell away from the internet. Now, thankfully, Sam Harris is fine with all of this.
Sam Harris is fine. Sam Harris, whose claim to fame is his mom created Golden Girls.
Is that true? How do you, all these things that you know about these people?
Sam Harris's mom created Golden Girls.
Susan Harris is Sam Harris's mom?
Yeah. Yep. Sam Harris's mom created Golden Girls. He's also known for, he was on Bill Maher one time, and he and Ben Affleck got into it where he was talking about Islam. Sam Harris was talking about Islam and saying, look, we're not saying that all Muslim people are this way, but Islam as a general concept has a lot of violent tendencies. And Ben Affleck was screaming at him, telling him he sounded ignorant and racist and whatever. And it became a huge viral clip from, I want to say 2011, maybe-ish.
Yeah, that would have been the time, about 10 years ago, yeah.
Oh, yeah, just given and he also has his podcast, I think it's called Triggernomics, or maybe that's his book. But he has a book and a podcast, and he is a very well educated elite from the left as you can guess, growing up in Hollywood. But he's a very educated elite from the left who has used it, and he's a smart guy. I'm not going to knock him. He's a smart person, typically. He says a lot of dumb stuff, and we're about to go into one of the dumb things that he has said. But what were you going to say?
Also, heterosexual, Sam Harris. He's married to Annika Harris, or Annika Harris. I could have sworn he was gay.
I thought Kal Penn was straight, and I was wrong there.
Kal Penn is gay?
Yeah.
But wait, didn't Kal Penn... Oh, no, I'm thinking of the other guy. Okay, then yeah, Kal Penn's gay.
Kal Penn is gay.
That I did know.
I did not know that. I thought Kal Penn was straight.
I was thinking of the guy, the Indian guy from Parks and Recreation who was accused of...
no, that's definitely... Yes, that's not Kal Penn.
That was
Aziz Ansari.
It's not Kal Penn, who is gay.
Who is gay.
So Sam Harris.
Sam Harris. So Sam Harris... Sam Harris was on one of these think tank shows where they were kind of talking about the role of media in politics. And, of course, the Hunter Biden story came up. And he said, I don't care what's in Hunter Biden's laptop. There's nothing that Hunter Biden could do that would alarm me. At that point, Hunter Biden literally could have the corpses of children in his basement. I would not have cared, Harris insisted. And he went on to say, it doesn't matter what evil things or dishonest things that Joe Biden has done in the past. All you have to do is look at Trump University to know that he wasn't as bad as Trump.
You know, I don't want this to seem like this is a pro-Trump episode.
But that, like, I was doing the notes and I was like, God, this is going to sound so pro-Trump, and I don't.
I know. This feels very Trumpy.
It does, but these are the things that happened this week that I actually found to be interesting.
You know what? The problem is this week the reality has been pro-Trump. So what do you think about that, libtards? No, so I saw when this broke, and the crazy thing, you know, Sam Harris, he's a private citizen. He has the right to this very, very bad opinion that it's okay for government to, you know, hurt people if it saves democracy or what. That was his reason, right? That
yes.
Trump was a threat to democracy or something? Yes, of course. Our democracy.
Yes. And yes, so yes, Sam Harris is a private citizen, but at the same time, he is a member of the media in different senses.
Yes.
And
absolutely.
That's sort of the theme that this was. This was sort of this entire thing is a bash on media. It just all has to do with Joe Biden's kids. But Sam Harris is just like, he's a kernel of what you see in the media where, like he said, Hunter Biden literally could have the corpses of dead children in his basement. I would not have cared if it meant getting Trump out. I was all for getting Trump out. I didn't want the replacement we got, but I was all for getting Trump out. However, when you're looking at it through this lens, when the media looks at it through this lens of, I don't care what's in Hunter Biden's laptop, there's nothing on there that could be that Joe Biden did that's as bad as Trump University, which everything that Trump has done, especially with Trump University, technically was legal by every single metric. Was it immoral? Sure. But was it legal? Yes.
Yeah.
And it was legal under laws that Joe Biden wrote.
That's a good point. But he said that because Trump University was so bad, Hunter Biden could have literally had the corpses of children in his basement. Now, I'm sure that was slightly hyperbolic, but he's making it clear there could have been some serious, egregious crimes committed as long as it saves our democracy. Now, I know he's backtracked a little bit here, but the thing is, like you said, yes, this is troubling because he is a member of the media. What's more troubling is that this is what the FBI has been operating on. This is what the intelligence and law enforcement apparatus of the federal government
Yes.
has been operating on. That it did not matter what Joe Biden did, that it only mattered what Donald Trump did, and we'll do everything we can to stop him because we have a preferred outcome. We, the U.S. federal government, is going to do in this election what we do in elections in other countries. And that is obviously a gigantic problem. It undermines the whole idea of your democracy. You want to talk about saving democracy. The best way to save democracy is not ruin its image by showing that there's a predetermined outcome that they will do whatever they can to create.
Many people on the right and the left see this when it happens, when we're like, okay, we're going to go into this other country to give them democracy, and it's like the CIA or somebody going in to depose the government and, install a democratic government using the military. People are like, we shouldn't be doing that. What they are doing here is, instead of the CIA, I'm certain that the CIA and the NSA are involved, but the FBI is literally going in and trying to destroy political opponents in order to change how democracy works in this country. If you're against it in other countries, which many people on the left are, many people on the right are, you need to be against it in this country. You don't want the government picking and choosing the winners.
Yeah. That's going to end very, very, very poorly.
Very poorly. And
it does end, and not just in 2020. It ends very, very poorly. Hey, by the way, everyone, you don't think the FBI was behind making sure that Donald Trump got the GOP nomination, do you? Oh, side note here. Donald Trump was told towards the end of his campaign, when he was deciding who he was going to pardon, he was told, you better darn well not pardon Ross Ulbricht or Julian Assange or a couple other people, because then we're going to have trouble with you. Well, now they're subpoenaing his property and doing raids on his property, so clearly him listening to them didn't work. But let's stop talking about Joe Biden.
Was he really?
Yeah, that was from multiple close sources, that he was being told, we have a list of people that if you pardon them, you're going to have trouble with and keep in mind, this was after January 6th, and they were saying, we've got some stuff hanging over you, and you're going to have a lot more trouble if you free these people. And Ross Ulbricht, Julian Assange, a few others that I can't remember at the moment were among that list. But you know what? Let's stop talking about Joe Biden. Let's stop talking about Hunter Biden. Ashley Biden. The media is also reporting that two have pled guilty to trafficking Ashley Biden's diary and property.
Now, for anybody who's not familiar with this story, there's two people who are, well, I don't know if they still live here in Florida, but at least in 2020 they did, or at 2021 they did, who lived in Florida. Yep. And we all know that Hunter is the wild child of the Biden family.
Yes.
Well, if he's the wild child, his sister probably isn't too far off. She has had a lot of issues over her life, and I won't hit anybody for addiction issues. Never will.
No. We both have had addiction issues. Yeah.
Yep. I've had them. Will not do it. But Ashley Biden was crashing with some friends in Florida toward the end of 2020, and she had a room with them. And when she left a bunch of property behind. She abandoned it, which under Florida law means that the landlord has to let them know they have to pick it up in X amount of days. I don't remember the amount of days, but they have to let them know you have to pick it up in X amount of days. And if they don't, then the property becomes abandoned and you can sell it, auction it off, or anything. Any of these things are optional and you don't actually have to do anything. It's a very weirdly written law. So the people went in and there was stuff there. And so they went through it. And one of the things that was there was Ashley Biden's diary. By a stroke of luck, the two people were huge Trump supporters. And so they offered it to the Trump campaign. And the Trump campaign was like, no, we don't want it. Give it to the FBI.
Yeah.
I can't believe that they trusted them. But they were like, give it to the FBI. So the two people gave it to Project Veritas. And so James O'Keefe said, hey, okay, Biden, we want an interview with you in the next 4 days, or we are going to publish the contents of this diary. So the FBI raided Project Veritas and said that they were in possession of a stolen diary. James O'Keefe was like, no, they told me that they found it in the house. Not that they stole it, but they found it in the house. Truly, it doesn't. They pled guilty, so I'm imagining, but they didn't we'll get into that in a minute. So they're saying they found it in the house, so, I didn't know it was stolen. So they end up going down and arresting Amy Harris of Palm Beach and Robert Kurlander of Jupiter for theft of this diary. They insist that it was abandoned, which is why they aren't getting charged with theft of property. Like a lot of places are still saying that it's stolen, but the way that it appears is that it's not stolen.
But that they trafficked it.
But
how do you traffic something that justifiably belongs to you?
Right. Florida,
unless diaries are illegal now.
Right. So they pled guilty, and I want to read the charge directly, to a single conspiracy charge stemming from their involvement in selling the journal. Not for theft, not for stealing, not for anything like that, not for illegally taking it. It's for it's a conspiracy charge for their role in the journal.
Which they didn't steal.
And so it's a two-part thing here, because the media is talking about, okay, they shouldn't have stolen this diary. And they should go to jail for stealing this diary. They're saying we didn't steal it. It was left at the house and we found it, which the Biden children have a terrible track record of leaving things places that they
really?
Yeah, I know.
Can I just say, because this now authenticated diary, so they can't say, oh, it's a Russian hit job or what. It's now authenticated. Ashley Biden talks, among other things, about being sexualized at a very young age in her family and showering with her dad like in her teens, right? Like
it was late tweens. It was like the late tweens to early teens.
Yeah, that's...
And nobody's talking about the contents of the diary. For a while, they were saying it's a fake diary, but then they charged him with theft of the diary. And if it was theft of a diary, that means that it was a real diary.
Means it was fake. That means it was real. It has now been authenticated by the FBI. And so no one's talking about that. I have a theory, and you can all tell me what I think. Matt, I'd like to hear what you think. Hunter Biden is leaving behind compromising stuff about him and his dad. Ashley Biden is leaving behind diaries about her childhood. Is this a cry for help? Are these kids like leaving? I say kids, they're now grown adults.
Yeah,
are they leaving behind stuff in the desperate hope that it'll take down their father and show what their lives are like? Or
I would like to say yes to that, but no, I don't think so. Like, obviously Hunter has addiction issues. Ashley Biden also has struggled with addiction throughout her life. Showering with your father can do that. So we are now looking at a situation where the media, instead of reporting the stuff that's in the diary that has been authenticated, that was potentially probably obtained legally, they aren't reporting the stuff that's in it. Instead, they're going after the people who are trying to bring you the information. They went after the New York Post for bringing you the information. They went after, the media, probably with direction from the FBI or the Department of Justice.
Yes, probably so.
Is shaping your perception on what is real and what is not. The fact that they aren't showing you what's in the diary while talking about the people in the story, the two people from Florida whose names I don't remember off the top, Amy Harris and Robert Kurlander.
Amy Harris and Robert Kurlander.
And they're saying that they pled guilty to involvement in theft of the diary or involvement in conspiracy with the stolen diary, or however they word it.
Yeah.
Shows that they don't want you to know what's in the diary, but instead they want you to know that, oh, well, they pled guilty. And what they probably got him on, and I am not a legal expert. I just play one here sometimes. I am not a legal expert. So what they probably got him on was something along the lines, because I know it has something to do with taking the information across state lines. And it's probably like a two-party consent kind of thing where that was her information.
Oh, yeah, because it's her. Yeah.
Right. So that is my guess, is that's what they got him on, and that's where the conspiracy portion comes in. But they can't say that it's a stolen diary because they know that, because there's a chance that yes, she did leave it in the house.
Yeah, she left it there. Yeah, it's abandoned property. So that's fun. So we have the government working directly to censor information and to use media, both old and new media, to shape the information that you are being exposed to solely for political purposes in order to preserve their power. Again, this is not pro-Trump.
No.
This is not even explicitly anti-Biden.
No, this is anti-government. This is anti-Department of Justice, anti-FBI, anti-media, anti-social media, because they're arms of the government if they are taking direction from the Department of Justice or the FBI. If they're taking their talking points from them and doing it because they're, like Spike said earlier, you're being coerced with promises of gifts or promises of being hauled into Congress for whatever reason, the sit in testimony for 6 hours, and you just don't want to do it.
And being sued and or prosecuted. So it is or regulated into oblivion, or all of those things.
Or all of those
and
things.
that is the problem. And it's why we've been saying from the beginning, abolish the Department of Justice, the Department of Homeland Security, the FBI, all of that. This exists to protect and preserve power. It has nothing to do with protecting you. It is about protecting and preserving power and creating victims along the way. We just recently had the what was it, the 29th anniversary, I believe, of the 30th anniversary of the Ruby Ridge murders, Randy Weaver and Vicky Weaver. It just never ends. Like, these things need to be abolished, and any crimes committed by its agents, they need to be held fully accountable for, but it just needs to be ended. So I'll tell you what also needs to be ended, this episode. But we will be right back on Wednesday for the next episode where we will be interviewing, do we say who it is, or are we going to just say it's a surprise?
Let's keep it a surprise.
It's a surprise. You're never going to believe who we're interviewing. But I can tell you this, it's going to be a 2-part interview because we've already done it. So we know that's a 2-part interview. And so we're going to be showing the first part of the interview on Wednesday, and then we are going to be showing the best part of the interview on Saturday. And I know you're saying to yourself, why would you show the best part on Saturday? What's on Saturday? Well, Saturday is our subscriber-only episode that we put out every single week. And if you want to get access to that exclusive subscriber-only content, head on over to anchor.fm/muddywaters/subscribe. Become a subscriber today for only $10 a month. You get access not only to our weekly subscriber-only content, but also occasional subscriber-only content that we put on there, one-time stuff that's special just for the subscribers. You also get an ad-free viewing and listening experience on all of the social media platforms and on all the podcasting platforms, and you also get a discount at the Muddy Waters Media Store and some participating vendors as well. All of that again for the low price of $10 a month. Anchor.fm/muddywaters/subscribe. So we will see you back here tomorrow but same muddied time, 8 p.m. And we will see you here, and we can't wait to talk to you again. And where we're going,
we don't need roads.